If you are a fan of cherry-based fragrance, then you absolutely have to check out Latte di Cherry. So let's review it now. Hey, what's going on? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel where I upload weekly fragrance content. So of course, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below and also be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page. So today we are reviewing a fragrance by the house of New Notes, who has been getting a lot of traction as of late, especially the new Latte di Cherry. Because of course, cherry has become such a popular note in fragrances. Of course, when you think of the note of cherry, the first fragrance that pops up in my mind and probably your mind is Tom Ford's Last Cherry, which is sort of the fragrance that started the entire cherry genre of perfumery, and it kind of took off. Now a lot of houses have been coming out with their own cherry fragrance. New Notes has Latte di Cherry, and I cannot wait to bring this one to your attention. Now, I do want to shout out the guys over at So Avant-Garde for sending this fragrance over for review. They are actually the distributor for New Notes and so many other designer and niche brands. And you already know, I hooked you guys up with a discount code. Use code FragHunter20. That's going to get you 20% off at checkout on all your orders. So definitely be sure to go ahead and get those savings on over there. Now let's go over some information. So Latte di Cherry is one of the newer fragrances from New Notes. This was launched back in 2023, just a few months ago at the time of this recording. For the retail price on, I believe the only size they come in, which is the 50 ml like I have in hand, is going to run you $220. And to be honest with you, that is actually pretty expensive, especially for a 50 ml. However, of course, if you use my code, that will knock off 20% off of that price. The concentration, this is an extrait de parfum, which means the highest of perfume oils in a fragrance. And thank goodness, since they're charging that $220 for a 50 ml, they are giving you a very highly concentrated fragrance, so that is a plus. The perfumer, I did a bunch of research and I came up short. I'm not sure who the nose was behind a Latte di Cherry, so unless anybody knows watching this, leave a comment about that down below. All that information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you're going to get with New Notes Latte di Cherry now. All right, so unfortunately, we're gonna be looking at only the bottle today because mine is a tester bottle, so I don't have the original box, but the original box is absolutely gorgeous. It kind of has these red lips around the entire thing. And honestly, from all the New Notes fragrances, I love the aesthetic they went for. But looking at the bottle, of course, you have this beautiful red glass bottle, New Notes Latte di Cherry Extrait de Parfum, sort of in a cream colorway, which does match the fragrance perfectly. On the bottom, you do have your sticker with your batch code to authenticate your product to see when it was produced. These are made in Italy and these are 50 mls. On the back, mine does says tester because mine is a tester bottle. On top, you do have the New Notes logo. Nothing inside of the cap, well actually there is the New Notes logo inside of the cap as well, which is a nice touch. Nothing on the atomizer, and these do click into place very snugly, so you can't pick it up with confidence. The top, you have cherry, almond, red berries, and orange. In the mid, you have spices, jasmine, ylang ylang, and rose. And in the base, you have tonka bean, vanilla, sandalwood, musk, amber, and vetiver. And this will be classified as a sweet fruity. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. Wow, that is a beautiful distribution that is pressurized. So of course, if you want, you can spray a little bit or you can spray a lot. So hats off to New Notes with that atomizer. Let's remind myself of a Latte di Cherry now. So the first thing that's gonna hit your nose when you spray this is gonna be this very authentic, sort of sour smelling cherry note. That's why I said if you're a cherry lover, you absolutely must do yourself a favor and check this fragrance out because the cherry in the opening is mouth-watering. And when it comes to the cherry note by itself, this might honestly have the best cherry opening. And I could believe when New Notes was making a cherry fragrance like Latte di Cherry, they were probably like, okay, you guys like the note of cherry? Well, I got something special for you because yeah, they knocked it out of the park when it comes to cherry. However, of course, cherry is not the only thing going on in that opening. Even though it is the most prominent, you are still gonna get this bitter almond note. So it is a little bit nutty in the opening. Not too much, but slightly, along with some red berries that, I don't know, kind of just mixed with that cherry note. I'm not really picking up on anything other than that cherry, so it's just kind of working together. Now that orange note, which is a little bit different, especially when you have cherry, you don't really have orange together, especially in perfumery. However, I am getting a slight, like a very slight hint of orange, like this fresh citrusy orange note. But I mean, it's way in the background. You kind of have to dissect the opening to pick it up, but it is somewhat there when I think about it. But primarily just a sour, authentic cherry mixed in with this nutty, kind of bitter almonds. Now, as it starts to wear and transition into the mid is where it's gonna become a little bit more spicy. Of course, from the spicy notes mixed in with those florals, but primarily to me, I'm getting this actually a pretty powdery rose note, very powdery rose in the mid of this, which of course rose usually does bring this kind of sophisticated touch and it makes it a little bit more complex and elegant, which is exactly what's going on in here. It's not just full on fruits. You are going to get this nice rosy kind of powdery touch in the mid mixed in with those spices. And once the rose and the spices come into play, the cherry is still there. You are going to be stuck with that cherry for a few hours. And then finally, when you make your way into the base of the Latte di Cherry is where I believe the latte name actually comes from, because it does start to turn very creamy from that vanilla and a little bit spicy vanilla as well, but it does sort of give off that latte vibe mixed together with this warm, comforting, gourmand tonka bean. And tonka bean can be creamy as well, so tonka bean and vanilla go hand in hand together, especially for a nice kind of base in a fragrance. So you are going to get that combination from those two notes alongside this slightly warm resinous amber. Not really getting any musk, vetiver, or even that sandalwood, which is kind of creamy as well, but does turn pickly. So primarily tonka bean, vanilla, and amber to wrap it off into that latte kind of vibe. Just a fragrance that actually transitions beautifully from the top, mid, and base and sort of takes you on a nice fragrance journey. Because in the opening, of course, you get the sour cherry, bitter almonds, which starts to dry down to like the spicy, powdery rose, and then left with this really kind of lactonic, creamy latte, vanilla tonka bean, and amber base. So if that kind of note breakdown sounds good to you, trust me, it smells even better. And just a must try for any of my cherry lovers out there in the fragrance world. Now for the best seasons to wear Latte di Cherry is going to be more the colder months, especially like the fall, winter, and springtime, even because of the florals. Not necessarily the summertime, because this does wear very thick and could be slightly cloying in the high heat, so stay away from that. But spring, fall, and winter, it will be perfect. For occasion, this one does lean more on the casual side of things, because primarily at the end of the day, this is a sweet, fruity fragrance, which usually correlates with being youthful and playful. So yeah, without a doubt, casual, even though you could dress it up if you really wanted to. For gender, with Latte di Cherry, these are targeted as unisex. However, in my opinion, with this one in particular, it is unisex, leaning feminine on this one. So all my ladies out there watching this one, you will absolutely love this fragrance. But the guys as well, I enjoy wearing it, even though it does lean slightly feminine. But when it comes to fragrances, I wear pretty much anything and everything, regardless if something smells more feminine or masculine. It doesn't really matter. But if you are a guy watching this, you don't like cherry, fruity, kind of floral fragrances or sweet fragrances, you probably won't enjoy this one that much. But if you are a guy that enjoys cherry fragrances, maybe something like La Cherry by Tom Ford, you will be able to actually enjoy and appreciate this fragrance. But at the end of the day, it does lean feminine. For age groups, it kind of goes along with what I said a little bit earlier with the occasions. It's being very fun and playful. So this is definitely more youthful rather than mature. So if you're either a teenager in your early 20s, mid 20s, whatever, if you have money to spend, this would be perfect for you. But if you are maybe 30s, 40s and up, this isn't necessarily something that I would recommend, but of course, age does not matter when it comes to fragrances. You can wear whatever you want, whenever you want, at any age you are at the end of the day. But when I'm painting you guys a picture, if I had to choose mature or youthful, this is 1000% a youthful targeted fragrance. Now, wrapping the review off, talking on the performance. So I got some good stuff to say about this one, because of course, like I said earlier, Extrait de Parfum, this is a very potent fragrance and it wears like one. Sometimes they don't. This one in particular does. You are going to get above average longevity, around 12 hours even. So it's going to last you the majority of the day very well. It's not something you have to reapply or anything like that, which is good, especially for the hefty price tag. you don't want to spend over $200 and have to reapply a fragrance after like 3 hours or something. This one you don't have to, so don't worry about it. It will last you easily like a whole work shift and some. Now for projection, when I review these fragrances, I classify them as either soft projection, moderate, or loud projection. With this one, I got about moderate. It's not necessarily gonna fill up a big room. However, people will smell you hours and hours after applying this one, because first time wearing this one around 8 hours after application, I did get a compliment on this one. So of course it's still pushing off the skin, but it's not gonna be like 2 arms lengths away. I mean, they will have to be pretty close to you to smell this one in like your scent bubble, which she was, but it's not really a fragrance that sits very, very close to the skin. It does push off pretty nicely, but at the end of the day, usually with extrait de parfums, they last a long time, but don't project that much for most cases. And that's sort of the same with this fragrance, but people will recognize and smell you, and you will get attention wearing this. So that's gonna do it for my review of the new Latte di Cherry by New Notes. Let me know down below if you guys tried anything from them. I have actually tried all their fragrances from the sample set. I do also have Erotica Minimal over there, which is a very sexy fragrance. I will review that soon. And also Musk Complexity is another one I'm gonna have to actually get my hands on, because I sampled it and fell in love being a Musk fan. So definitely a house to check out if you're into niche perfumery, because you probably will not be disappointed. So besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you haven't already, and you already know I'll catch all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.